I mean, how much trouble is democracy in? Some people say it's an alarmist view, but I think it's in trouble.
Democracy is being assaulted in the sense of the indecency of this president, the fact that he lies so promiscuously. All of that attacks our basic values, but the rub will really come when he does something that flouts the rule of law, and then we'll find out whether, for example, attempting to fire Mueller. And then we'll find out whether the Republicans who thus far have been covering for him will actually stand up and say, bridge too far. That really does offend the law, not just our values.
I have a spoiler alert on that. For those binge watching. I mean, I think that is going to be the test. I mean, I'm increasingly convinced we're not getting out of this without a crisis. Right? We're not going to get out without some stare down, some question of which institution holds, right? So the Trail of Tears case where Andrew Jackson gets a ruling against him from the court, and he says Justice Marshall's made his decision, now let him enforce it, and basically just says, well, what are you going to do about it, right? And it feels like we're heading towards a what are you going to do about it moment, and that's going to be a test. Right now, we haven't gotten to that moment yet. Partly we haven't gotten that moment, frankly, because the man who aspires to be an authoritarian is also kind of incompetent in a lot of ways. Yeah. And a coward in a lot of ways, crucially.
Malevolence tempered by incompetence,
right,
yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let me address your point, because I think you guys are looking just way too far down the ladder here. There is an existential threat to liberal democracy throughout the world right now. Democracy is in retreat all around the world. And you know what?
Yeah. You can name a lot of countries besides China.
Let me tell you, I just wrote a whole book about this. There is a threat going on right now in Europe. They are owned. Conservative parties are owned lock, stock, and barrel by the Kremlin. They fund them, and they are all about destroying the Atlantic Alliance, globalization, and America's standing in the world. They want an end to democracy. They want autocracy.
And what we should be clear about, I think, which makes it scarier, is that there's also domestic constituencies in places like Poland and Hungary for this. Yeah. Putin is very actually popular in Russia. Yeah. In spite of or because of the machinations he's gone through. So it's not just that we're watching a backsliding. Right. It's that there is a constituency that is embracing it, and that is what gives those movements their sort of dangerous power.
But don't forget that Putin doesn't just support right-wing movements in Europe. He also supports extreme left-wing movements in Europe. He supports disorder and destruction, and he doesn't care what label it wears, because that's in his interest.
Well, their old strategy of going after leftists and all that stuff, that's over and done with. Maybe libertarians that come all the way around to the right, but they own the neo-Nazi movement in Europe. Anders Behring Breivik, the guy who mass murdered 69 school children in Norway, he did that because he was part of this conservative underground there. Yeah. He said he did it to eliminate the next generation of liberals in Norway. These people exist everywhere throughout Europe. The United States and Charlottesville, that was to be the American alt-rights coming out to join that global network. We're in trouble.